Alright, so now that our muscles and joints are nice and warm and our body has got a nice sweat in from that cardio warm up that we just did, we're going to go right into our stretching routine. We're going to start on the floor, on our stomach here, and you can see me placing my hands on the ground and pushing up nice and tall. This is called a cobra pose, and what it allows us to do is open up our lower back, and the big key there is to keep the hips on the ground. Right from there, you're going to see me transition into what is called a child's pose, where we have the hands on the ground, stretching out the lats, again opening the lower back, and just loosening up everything from our shoulders again to our lower back and our glutes. You can do a variation of the child's pose here, going both right and left with both of your arms, really opening up the lats on both sides. And then right from there, what I'm going to do, you can see me there directing you to take your knees out as wide as you possibly can. And what you're going to do is stretch out that groin and inner thigh and just allow yourself to sit on your forearms and bring that chest and head down nice and close towards the floor. Again, super important here when you're stretching to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You'll see me a lot of times throughout the duration of my stretching routine here, taking nice deep breaths to make sure that I'm not holding my breath at any moment. Taking nice deep breaths is what allows you to get deeper into your stretch. From there, I'm just going to keep my knees right in place, and I'm going to take my hands and reach them back behind me. This allows me to open up my hip flexors and quads, which are in the front of your leg. You'll also see me place my hands on my heels and really push my pelvis forward to finish that stretch there. Moving on, we're going to go into what's called a runner stretch. You can see me directing you to go into a 90-degree angle with your legs here. And if you see me, I'm not just sitting still, I'm taking my glutes and my pelvis and pushing them forward as I keep my chest nice and tall. You can see me directing you there again. That is going to allow you to open up your hip flexor and quad again. I'm going to do that again on the other side, and you'll see a better angle of that when we get there. So from there, I'm going to get a little bit deeper into the stretch now, kick that leg out a little bit further, and bring my hands and head all the way down to the floor. Many of you will be able to go all the way down to your elbows. I am not quite there yet, but get down there as far as you can. Opposite hand to the sky, to the ceiling. And then what I'm going to do is open up and put the same hand that my leg is up on the ground and really open up my hip flexor and obliques on the right hand side. So now what we're going to be doing is going into a calf and hamstring stretch. You just saw me directing you to take your toes and point them towards the ceiling as you do this stretch. That'll allow you to stretch into your calf. Again, you're going to see me hit this again on the other side, so don't worry if you feel like you don't have a good angle. Watch this video all the way through and you'll see me do both sides. So what we're going to be doing here is going down into quite an uncomfortable position if you've never been down there before. Kick that leg out behind you and then kick that leg straight out in front. Again, we're going to be stretching the hamstring and calf here. Make sure you're allowing yourself to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Again, not holding your breath at any point. From there, all we're going to do is go into what's called a 90 stretch, putting both legs at a 90-degree angle. Making sure that I'm taking my chest and bringing it out over my knee, not down to my knee. You'll see what I mean here as we go through this. Again, I'm trying to direct you to bring your chest out over your knee, as you can see me there. Not that bringing your knee down. It's kind of okay. You'll get a good stretch, but if you bring that chest out over top of the knee, you're going to feel a deeper stretch through your glute, which is very, very important. And lastly here, what you'll see me do on this side is bring my knee all the way in. Now I can bring my chest all the way down to the floor, resting my forehead on the floor, giving my hip and glute a much deeper stretch than we were just in. And this is going to be the final stretch on this side. Very, very simple. All that I'm going to do is go right to the other side. You'll see me saying repeat it on the other side here. Everything that we just did, we're going to do again on this side, and you'll get a better angle of what I just did. Again, me directing you to push your hips forward, keep your chest nice and tall, squeezing those glutes, and you'll see me touching with my left hand there exactly what I'm hitting. My hip flexor and my quad is what I'm pointing to there. This will really, really open up your hip flexors in a great way, and it's very, very important that you do so. A lot of people have tight hips, which causes bad posture. Now I'm telling you to take your chest and your head all the way down to the floor. Really get a nice deep stretch. You'll also feel this one in your hamstring. It's one of my favorite stretches. Again, going into a variation of the yoga pose here, opposite hand towards the ceiling. I'm sorry, that's the same hand, my fault. Opposite hand is going to be reaching over the top here now to stretch out my oblique, as well as my hip flexors on that side, very important. Here you'll see me directing, not toes straight out, but make sure you're pointing them back because that is what stretches your calf out. And really getting into the stretch nice and deep here, hamstring and calf. And then you'll see me reach over the top again to get a good stretch. Make sure that I'm fully stretched through my obliques and hip flexors. Getting down into that uncomfortable position now, stretching all the way out towards that foot. Stretching the calf and hamstring once more, just in a different angle. From there, all you do is pull that leg right into a 90-degree position, the chest out over top of the knee, making sure that we are stretching those glutes and hips. And then we'll go into a much deeper stretch here in a moment. Here we'll transition into that deeper stretch for your glute and your hip. Again, just me telling you to bring your forehead and your chest all the way down to the floor with this one. You can kick that other leg straight back behind you and just sit right on your knee. Feel a real deep stretch in through your hip and glute there. Now what I'm going to do from here is go into what we call a chair sit, which is going to stretch out my inner thigh and my groin muscles again. All I'm going to do is take my elbows and push my knees out as far as I can. I'm here on my toes, bringing my chest down, taking my elbows, pushing my knees out nice and wide. And then from there, what I like to do is kick my feet out and just go into a nice deep squat position. I'll take my elbows again. You can see me pushing my knees out as far as I can. Again, getting a nice stretch into my legs, trying to keep my chest nice and tall. And I'll finish through the stretch. Then what you're going to see me do here is just a couple extra stretches that you can perform. These ones are just some extra ones. Like I said, if you feel like you need to get a deeper stretch through your legs and your lower back, these are stretches that you can absolutely do. All I do is take my feet and go a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. I'm going to go straight down the center and let gravity just bring my body weight all the way down. I'm going to make sure I stretch both sides here, going to the right and then also going to the left. And I'll kick out a little bit further. Again, making sure that you're breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Make sure you're not holding your breath at any point. This will allow you to really open up your body. From here, you'll see me go into what's called a squat stretch. I'm going to try and do my best to keep the leg that is planted close to my body on my heel. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Make sure that the leg is straight. Getting a good stretch through my inner thigh, my hamstrings, everything. And then finish up here in the center. And you are good to go.